Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. Hey, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like and subscribe. It helps the flow of the live stream, and also it helps get the views. And follow me on all of my other social media platforms. If this is your first time watching me, I'm on everything, especially in my Substack. But we're going to talk about a few things today. Stephen A. Smith walked off the set. He was that upset about what was going on in the town hall. We got Glenn Beck, which I was wrong about Glenn Beck, and I didn't say it publicly, but privately I thought Glenn Beck made a mistake, but he didn't. Don Lemonhead, Lemon Juice. We're going to talk about him. We're going to also talk about this crazy thing that happened to a 5-year-old young lady. And Katie Porter. Nick, what was her nickname? Katie Porker. We're going to talk about Katie Porker as soon as we come back. Y'all hold the phone.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning then, you might as well go on the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. Stephen A. Y'all know he my boy now, man. I be texting Stephen A. Stephen A. walked off the set of a town hall meeting, and I think he did it for good cause to a certain degree. But let me just give a quick background before we get into this. News Nation hosted a high-profile town hall, and they were talking about border security, immigration, ICE enforcement, all of the above, and had a bunch of people show up to it. Chris Cuomo was there. Tom Homan was there. Bill O'Reilly. For those of you who've been conservative for a long time, you know who Bill O'Reilly is. Stephen A. Smith was there, and also Senator John Fetterman, who I think will be a Republican in the next term. But all of them were on the panel. They were discussing things related to ICE raids and all of the above. I got a lot to say about it, but I want y'all to see the clips that we have prepared for you, especially with Stephen A. Smith getting upset and walking off the set because of the lunacy of our politicians. Let's put that up on the screen and roll it.
We're listening to this kind of stuff while a young man walked up to the microphone and said that he had to leave here to go and work on DoorDash to help pay for his daughter's tuition. Meanwhile, everybody up here getting paid. But he ain't. This is this kind of stuff right here. That's how you know, and I'm not accusing any of you directly or personally of feeling this way. I'm just talking about the apparatus that is Washington, the nation's capital. This is why you have so many Americans, excuse my language, so pissed off at Washington, because somehow, some way, you get to have these conversations, engage in specific elements of it to talk about what we need to do to get things better. Our debt is $37.8 trillion. Somehow, some way, the taxpayer's been paying this, been throwing money, because we all look at our check, and it's been going to the government. And somehow, some way, you're supposed to be doing something constructive and productive enough to make sure that we don't have that kind of deficit. It isn't happening. A government shutdown is going on right now. A man has to work on DoorDash when he's really an air traffic controller that we applauded. And we're up here talking about how much some money is going to cost. And the only person that don't have a check coming is him. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a break.
All right. We'll go to the audience.
I love when I see people just keep it real. You know, in the face of all the foolery that's going on and people up there running their mouth, saying all this stuff that they rehearsed with their preppers or whatever. And then Stephen A. just come out there and say, what are we doing? We're in a crazy amount of debt as a nation. Y'all been over our money. If my accountant, I go to him and I say, look, where our money going? I've been out here busting my butt every day when I don't feel like making videos. I'm traveling and speaking and running companies, and we in debt, bruh. You lucky I don't swing on you. You definitely ain't got a job. I'm finna fire you. And our government is the ones doing it. You guys have put us in debt. We've entrusted you with our money. A lot of us could have been doing a lot of things with them tax dollars that we've been throwing at you, and y'all been dropping the ball. Like, I honestly think that anybody that's associated with debt at the end of their term, they have to cycle out. Y'all don't care if it's your fault or not. Something ain't happening. If you go into a gridlock where the government is shut down for more than 72 hours, everybody got to go. Y'all grown people can't come to an agreement. Y'all got to go. Then you will wonder how many times will there be politicians that gridlock and want to play political games when they all lose their job if they can't come to an agreement. Bruh, y'all grown. Y'all not kids. At some point, you got to drop your you-know-what and put your big boy pants on and put your big boy woman pantsuit on and come to the table and say, look, man, we're not finna make the American people go through this. We need to figure it out. You got 72 hours to figure it out or y'all all gone. And the next person that didn't win the election would be up next to be an interim. But let's go to some more clips because it got juicy on a few levels. Let's go to clip 2 because this was, I believe that Tom Homan was questioned by Cuomo. He also got charged up by Stephen A. Smith, but I think Stephen A. Smith did it in good faith. But Cuomo questioned Tom Homan, and here's his response. Roll the clip.
Look, the masks, it's a bad look, all right?
No,
I understand the security problem with it, but it's a bad look. You make these men and women look like Hamas, and then you don't think people are going to react to them that way. Of course they are. They got their, it's like this stupid movie, Men in Masks Not Be Trusted. That's what you're setting them up for. I get the risk. Color of authority matters also. They should have a badge. You should be able to identify what they are. Nobody should have to guess that they're getting duped and they're not who they say they are. Everybody does it the same way. I get the sensitivity of the security. I'm with you. 2 things that I think are getting stuck up. 1, you talk about.
Hold on, before you say that, I'm going to let him finish. But hold on. This is a stupid question. Are we smoking crack or not? They got a uniform on and a tack vest, and they jump out of ICE vehicles, and they identify themselves as ICE. And you illegal. You know who they are. You know who they are. And they got a mask on to protect themselves, but they clearly got ICE on their uniforms. Let them finish.
Enough. Track is the best thing that they have, right? Syracuse University has this open FOIA request. I hear you on shows all the time, Tom. I do not think that you're FOS, okay? I've known you a long time. You can't say I see the data all the time. Great, I don't. Put the data out because track, you can look it up for yourself. TRAC, it's an acronym through Syracuse University. It's like 50-50. That takes me to the next point, which is you're not cutting fat, you're cutting muscle. And these communities need people who may have entered the wrong way but have done everything right since. And their kids are here, and they're productive.
But that's for
and
Congress.
Their employers need them. What?
That's for Congress to do. They got to read.
I'm not on. Listen, Tom and I have talked about this. You're an enforcement guy. I'm with you, and Tom makes the right point that they got to fix it. But enforcement priorities matter. Okay?
I'm being transparent tonight. 70% of everybody arrested is a criminal. President Trump said we're going to concentrate on national security threats. That's exactly what we're doing. The data shows it. And like I said, for the hundreds of thousands of criminals that is going to be removed in this administration, it makes that country safe again, keeping President Trump's promise to American people what he was going to do. He said he's going to have the largest deportation operation in history. We're going to have the largest deportation operation in history. You look at numbers right now, I just told you, over 500,000 have been deported between CBP and ICE. And that's not counting the first 4 months of the fiscal year that were under Biden. We're not even counting those months. But if you extrapolate that in the monthly apprehension we got right now, you do have the biggest operation in the history of the nation. And one of the reasons people don't understand why do we have the most secure border in the nation's history? Because President Trump's executive orders, his leadership on that, the men and women of the border who stand in that front line and catch and release. And third, because the whole world sees ICE out there every day across this nation enforcing the immigration law, sends a clear message of consequences so families don't spend their life savings handed to a criminal cartel to make that dangerous journey because they know there's consequences. President Trump's policies, whether people want to face it or not, is saving lives by the thousands. Under Joe Biden, a record number of aliens died making that journey. A record number of Americans died from fentanyl coming across that border. This administration is not only enforcing law and making our streets safe again, they're saving thousands of lives.
In your face. So who can argue with it? Man, this hoodie go hard, though. I ain't going to even lie. We just sourced this. This is the most comfortable hoodie I've ever had. and they don't have no string on. I told them, get the string off of it. Gosh, dang it. Y'all need to get y'all one of these hoodies, though. This support Charlie. 100% of all the profit go to his family. Get you one. I had to say that. He just brought me this one. Y'all ain't finna find another conservative site that will produce product like this. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's get back to the message at hand. TatumStore.com. Stephen A. Smith talking about masks as well. Clip one. Let's roll that.
Identity. Law enforcement officials throughout this country don't get the license to do that. They have to walk up to you. They have to identify.
Hold on. Stephen A., let me correct you real quick. And if Stephen A. talked to me, he wouldn't have said this. But I think he's asking a question for the general public. Law enforcement do wear masks like this. When we do SWAT call-outs, we were fully covered our face. And one of the reasons why we covered our face is because when we throw that flashbang or we do that to CS gas so it don't get back in our face. But we used to do SWAT call-outs and we cover our whole face. We got a full uniform on that says Tucson SWAT. And you've been selling dope the last 5 years. You know what it is. When you hear the bang, bang, bang police, you know it's us. When they see the people come out there with the mask on and that green gear with that tech vest on, they know it's ICE. Roll it.
Who they are. They have to make sure it's clear. An ICE agent getting to conceal their identity is not a privilege or a situation that other law enforcement officials have. Why should ICE agents have that?
Look, I don't particularly like the mask either, but name another law enforcement agency that's over 1,000% attacks on them. And name another law enforcement agency whose spouses and children have been doxxed on social media and been attacked and bullied in churches and schools. These men and women put a gun on their hip and wear a Kevlar vest to go on the streets every day, look for the worst of worst, makes this country safer. Them wearing a mask, if that protects them and protects their families, then that has to be done. No one, you know. I remember the days some of these cities, if they weren't wearing a mask during COVID, you got reported to the police and got arrested for it. These men and women are trying to protect themselves and their families. And again, I don't like the mask. I wish there wasn't need for it. But there's not another law enforcement agency dealing with the attacks that ICE is dealing with right now. Look, immigration enforcement, I've been doing it since 1984. It's always been controversial. It's always been emotional. But people need to remember the men and women at ICE, they don't hang their heart on a hook when they go to work. They're mothers and fathers too. They have children too. And they take very, very emotional things home with them every day. You know, I've done this for over 40 years.
So Tom Hoban, I did an interview with Tom Hoban. I met him several times, and he's a genuine guy. And I think people need to if it wasn't for the media out here lying and content creators out here just floating around stupidity, the country wouldn't even be upset about this stuff, to be quite honest. We would understand that this is necessary to do to save our country. And wearing the mask, the whole thing, it's like they act like these people are unidentified, meaning that the government don't know who they are. Like y'all going on the street and getting random people to put a mask on and go enforce Border Patrol. These people work for the Border Patrol agency. The Border Patrol agency and government record have a record of all the people that are doing these things. So if a person goes out and bludgeons somebody and do something they're not supposed to do, the mask don't matter because his line of command already know who that person is. And they will discipline that person if they see him on camera doing something they're not supposed to. Everybody has a badge or ID number. You can have their badge and ID number if it comes to something criminal that they did that's untoward. What they want to do is they want these people to get killed. I'm telling you right now, that's why they don't want them to cover their faces. Not for any other reason. They didn't mind them covering their faces during COVID. They ain't worried about nobody covering their faces. They want them to get killed. They want them to get doxxed. They want to be able to leverage these people and scare them to death where ICE agents won't do their job because they can get exposed. That's the reason why they want them not to have a mask on, not for any other reason. Quit lying to yourself. But there's more. We have Fetterman, who I think that John Fetterman is going to be a Republican here soon. I mean, I don't know if because he had that stroke, he kind of woke up. Because I swear he was a leftist. And then he had a stroke and his brain went boop, 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 boop. And now he making common sense. I think just like Kirsten Sinema, he's a sensible Democrat. And if every Democrat and Republican were sensible, wouldn't we have a better country? We don't have to agree with everything, but be sensible about the things that matter to America. So let's put Fetterman up here and let's see what he has to say on this panel. Roll the clip. And Fetterman, hold on, Fetterman dressing like me every day. What is he doing? I like, there's a part of me, because I don't like to put suits on. I will. When I go down to the White House, I put me a sport coat on, put me a button-up shirt, because I want to be presentable. Out of respect, if I met the president, I'm going to put a suit and tie on. But Fetterman just be doing his own thing, boy. Sometimes I be like, is he really there or he just hanging out? Look like he gonna pull a skateboard out or something and go in the back and vape. That's what he look like. Roll the clip.
Could have gotten a deal with Hamas?
Well, I mean, you brought up a good point.
I skipped it. The question that was asked to him was, would Kamala Harris have gotten a deal with Hamas like Trump did? Roll it.
I think I was the only Democrat early on to give President Trump credit for the peace deal. Why wouldn't you?
Do you think Harris could have gotten it?
Well, again, I don't know. She's not the president. But where I'm at right now, it's like, ask any of the hostages or their families. They think President Trump was a hero and he deserves, the kind of deal for that thing. I think that was really a remarkable development.
Do you think Harris could have got him out?
No.
I think it's a silly question.
It's a what?
I think it's a silly question.
Wait.
Don't get Bill O'Reilly started, boy. He still got it.
Clapping. They're clapping because they
Security. Right here.
I think the most important point is just realizing who did it, not hypothetically or anything. I'm saying it's like, here's what happened, and there are actual members of my party that have refused to even acknowledge that this was significant. And that's for me where it's like, hey, our politics might be different, but this was a significant development.
Okay.
And now also it's what Israel was able to accomplish. They had to neutralize Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, and Iran. And also another thing, the Iranian nuclear facilities. I mean, like, I was the only Democrat that supported.
Hey, Democrat, is he going to be a Republican? Because I think Cuomo is coming around. They won't say they're Republican. Y'all get what I'm saying? They'll be supportive of Republican policies. Cuomo came around, Stephen A. Smith came around, and then now Fetterman has come around. I mean, he's come around since the last couple of years, but what he said, well, first of all, let me answer the question. F no. Kamala Harris, imagine her. Put on your imaginary cap. Imagine Kamala Harris talking to anybody. She literally go in circles on the campaign trail doing word salads. Ain't no way in the world nobody taking her seriously. You think she's going to get the Middle Eastern nations, Qatar, some of these other places, Saudi Arabia, and you think they listen to a woman? They don't even listen to women. They're like worth half of what a man is worth. They make them. I was in the airport the other day walking. You know your religion wrong when the man get to wear gym shorts and a t-shirt and his wife wrapped up her head to toe. All I saw was her eyeballs. I say that ain't right. I almost said, bro, man, let her take it off at the airport. It's hot in here. And you got her walking around. Ain't nobody want to look at her. We in America. Ain't nobody want to look at. What do we ain't got. She can wear regular clothes. Why you get to wear regular clothes and she don't? That's stupid to me. How y'all in a religion like that? Woman wrapped up from her kneecap to her eyeballs, just walking around in slavery. And I'm looking at him like, bro, you could at least dress up. I mean, can you put the little white gown on with the little thing on the top? Y'all don't have to wear nothing. You won't even know these people are Muslim. They don't have nothing on their neck. They don't have a Quran somewhere. They just doing their own thing. And the woman strapped up. And then Arizona is a sin. That's why a lot of them don't live in Arizona. It is a sin to make your wife wrap up like that in Arizona. It's hotter than you know what out here. 125. They got these women passing out in that thing. Come on. But Kamala Harris can never do anything like that because she is the dumbest candidate to ever live. She is the dumbest. When you go horizontal to go vertical in your career, you don't deserve to be the president. Some of y'all got that. Some of y'all still thinking. Okay, let me go to Glenn Beck. I want to talk about Glenn Beck real quick. I'm skipping it. Let me go to Glenn Beck, then I'm going to go to Don Lemon. Let me say this out the top. Now, Glenn Beck never heard me say this. Nobody in the public heard me say this. But when I saw a clip floating around, there was a misinformation clip. I say, man, Glenn Beck then went there and got his head whooped by these little weirdos that are anti-Semitic, believe in Tucker Carlson's of the world, and they stuck on stupid, and he didn't got worked at this thing because he don't go to college events. I said they should have had somebody like me there so I could put the smack down on these little weirdos who come out here and say this. And I call them weirdos because they're not acting in good faith. They listen to talking points from people online. None of these people have ever been to Israel. None of these people have ever listened to anybody give an alternative perspective. They're just doing Nick Fuentes-style talking points. And I thought he got cooked on here. And then I said, let me put this in perspective. Glenn Beck been doing this for a long time. Look at his hair. He been doing this for a long time. Glenn Beck probably been doing this before I was born. And I say, ain't no way he went out like this. Then I saw the real clip, and I say, here it go. But I want y'all to see the fake one first because they selectively edited this thing to try to make Glenn Beck look bad. And this breezy politics, I need to make one supporting Israel because they got one that bash Israel. Every single clip they put out, the channel is just bashing Israel. And they lie and they deceive. And here's an example. Roll the clip.
Israel has an overwhelming lobby over the United States government, and we have unconditionally supported them. We have fought their wars in the Middle East. Bibi Netanyahu came to our Congress in the 90s, told us a list of countries that we need to take out. Some were Syria, Iraq, Iran, Libya, etc. Through those wars, we have lost trillions of dollars. We have lost American servicemen.
We're lobbying everybody else, and they will.
No one's clapping. No one's clapping. Charlie was starting to notice about the Israel lobby.
Could I answer my question? Could I answer the question, please?
You're talking about one thing they don't teach in school? They don't teach about the USS Liberty, where Israel literally came, blew up an American ship because they want us to get in their war with Egypt, and they don't teach that in school. I mean, I'm just saying.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your question.
I have a question. Why is there this societal taboo around criticisms of Israel? For example, AIPAC doesn't have to register as a foreign lobby, but like the Australia lobby does. And it just
that should be changed. That should be corrected. Look, I am not going to say Israel should have any special privileges. None.
The woke Reich. I'm going to start calling y'all woke Reich. Just like Bibi Netanyahu. I don't care if you get mad at me. I don't know if y'all know me at this point. I don't give up about none of y'all being mad at me. Most of y'all ain't loyal anyway. Have you ever heard that song from Young Breezy? What his name? Chris Brown. These ain't loyal. Y'all ain't loyal anyway. You let a shooting happen and you don't like it, and then y'all don't unfollow me. So I don't care. I don't care what y'all feel. But some of y'all loyal though, and y'all know who y'all are, and I love y'all. And when you see me in public, give me a big old hug and we can take a picture or whatever you want because I love y'all back. But some of y'all ain't loyal, so I don't care what you think. The woke Reich. I had to make a shirt, the woke Reich, with a MAGA hat on with a swastika on it. Now, I ain't going to go that far. But they silly. The lobby. But here it go. I know some of y'all saw that. And you thought that these people, think about this for a minute, real quick. We'll put a clip up real quick. But think about this for a minute. Why did they have to cut the video in a non-reasonable way? Why did they have to be fake? If Glenn Beck really got his butt whooped and these young men really came up there and said something powerful, why they had to lie? Let's play the real clip though. Roll it.
My name is Jeb Baugh. I'm an aviation student here at the University of North Dakota. And I really liked your point, question everything. And one question I have for you, Glenn, is a lot of young American and conservatives are starting to notice that Israel has an overwhelming lobby over the United States government, and we have unconditionally supported them. We have fought their wars in the Middle East. Bibi Netanyahu came to our Congress in the 90s, told us a list of countries that we need to take out. Some were Syria, Iraq, Iran, Libya, etc. Through those wars, we have lost trillions of dollars. We have lost American servicemen. And the worst part I think about it is the fact that millions of refugees are coming to the Western world through America and Europe, are degrading our cities, destroying our Western values. The U.S.
Wait, if you have more, let me just, because That's a long list, and I have a very short attention span. So let me just answer some of those here, and then you can continue your encyclopedia of questions, and I appreciate it. Let's see. Israel has a lobby. Yes. And you know who has a bigger lobby all around the world? The United States of America. It is in each country's best interest to lobby. Don't blame Israel. Blame our own politicians if they act upon it outside of the United States' interest. Because I can tell you, we're lobbying everybody else. And they will...
First or Israel first?
No one's clapping.
Yes.
No one's clapping for your point.
First or Israel first? It's an easy question. Charlie was America first. What are you?
Charlie was starting to notice about the Israel lobby.
Could I answer my question? Could I answer the question, please? First of all, I'm an American first and always.
Cheers. Round of applause. Nobody clapping for them weirdos, as you noticed.
But the reason we have refugees all around the world is not Israel.
Come on.
It is a global system of people trying to take down the West. They are trying to just hold your peace for a minute. This is why I said, Shirley, I can't do this. What is happening is we have Islamists occupying our countries. The next war that you will face, you know what our first foreign war was? Against the Barbary pirates. They were the Islamic pirates, okay? Jefferson, when he ended that war, because nobody had the stomach for it, he said, I gotta warn you, everyone should read the Quran. He actually had I have a copy of it, printed Quran, printed for Americans to read. He didn't put out little teeny clips. He wanted every American to read the Quran. He said, because I'm telling you now, this is our first foreign war. But if we don't pay attention, I guarantee it will be our last foreign war. That is coming whether you like it or not. That is a plan well laid out. And yes, George Soros is a big part of it. I was the man who taught America about George Soros. One last thing. Here's my problem with this whole thing. Is it okay to set babies on fire? Is it okay to rape babies? Is it okay to kill people and have glee? Hear me out. Oh, dear God. Dear God Almighty. I will pray for you. Where was I? I don't have a problem with people saying, I have a problem with Israel. Because I'm not fighting Israel's wars. I don't want to fight Israel's war. I don't want to supply troops or arms. You can buy it. We'll sell it to you. But we're not going to fight your war. That's your war. But I believe Israel has a right to exist. I believe Jews have a right to live and not be hunted down. I know the history of the Middle East. They've been going through this forever. And even if we have a peace deal, I got news for you, gang. It's going to come undone at some point anyway. We're going to be facing the same thing over and over and over again because that's what it says in the Bible. It's going to happen. It's been going on for thousands of years. So I have no problem with you not liking what Israel is doing because I can understand it. I'm not asking for support on that. I am asking that you recognize that you are dealing with evil when you're talking about Hamas, not the Palestinian people, Hamas.
All right, so Israel has lobbies for all the countries around the world. They have lobbies for New Zealand, England, France. No Muslim has any lobbies. Another thing, you're talking about the stuff they don't teach in school. You're talking about one thing they don't teach in school. They don't teach about the USS Liberty, where Israel literally came, blew up an American ship because they want us to get in their war with Egypt. And they don't teach that in school. I mean, I'm just saying.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your question.
Yeah.
Guys, let me leave you on this because I'd like to turn this around so you believe me. It says, please wrap this up. I'll take one more question, but let me just say this. We must not divide. We must not divide ourselves. We cannot divide. I don't care if you like Israel. I really don't. Please recognize there is good and there is evil. I'm not saying the Jews are good or anything. You don't have to believe any of that. I do, but you don't have to. But recognize evil when you see evil. And what is happening with Islamists is evil. It is. Beyond that, let's just not divide ourselves. We need everyone on deck. Everyone. Last question.
Hey, sir, it's an honor. I have family that have been very long-time listeners of yours, and it's just crazy that you're here, you know. And I was going to come up here and ask you about Columbus Day and renaming it to Indigenous Peoples Day, but after that conversation, I just want to ask you, I completely agree with you that there's a ton of Islamist evil in the world, and they are a bigger enemy to the United States than Israel will ever will be. But I have a question. Why is there this societal taboo around criticisms of Israel?
You're standing here in a theater voicing this. Nobody's going to arrest you. Nobody's going to say anything. I'm going to answer you. We're having a great conversation. Where is the taboo?
The taboo is, for example, AIPAC doesn't have to register as a foreign lobby, but like the Australia lobby does. And
that should be changed. That should be corrected. Look, I am not going to say Israel should have any special privileges. None. Everyone should play by the rules, exactly the same rules, period. If they're not, that should be corrected. But let's correct those things. Let's not talk about snipers behind Charlie. Agreed. Good. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Glenn Beck, obviously he had a better showing than that little clip that they manipulated. But let's talk about the AIPAC thing for a minute. I wrote an op-ed about this. No, I wrote an op-ed, but I didn't publish it. Maybe I should publish it. People are extremely disingenuous about AIPAC. AIPAC is an American lobby. I don't know how many mother-freaking times I got to say this to people. It's American citizens who are lobbying on behalf of the relationship between America and Israel. So it's American Jews that want us to have relationships with Israel. American people can lobby whatever they want to lobby in America. And they don't have to register as FARA because they're not associated with a foreign government. That means they're not taking money or direction from a foreign government. I don't understand how these young people are so stupid. And let me say this. The whole taboo about talking about Israel. I mean, say that you don't like Israel. The biggest YouTuber in America has a lot to say about Israel. And y'all know who I'm talking about. And literally the biggest one. Hundreds of millions of people are watching this YouTuber. You know I'm talking about Candace Owens. People watching Candace Owens be trashing Israel every day. Every road that she go on lead to Israel. And she the biggest person on social media. What are y'all talking about? It's taboo? Matter of fact, it's lucrative. There's a part of me that wish Israel was wrong so I could be making money talking about Israel. But at the end of the day, quit being silly and following the Jones. That's why people like you and I got to stand strong in this. Israel do register under FARA. That's how you know that allegedly people are getting paid $7,000 for influence because it was a FARA registered financial support of an organization here in America that's sponsoring this. Now, I don't know what somebody's stealing money because I ain't never seen nobody get that money they talking about. And let's put that in perspective because a bunch of your favorite people in here talking about people getting paid to say something about Israel, $7,000 a person. Do the math, dummy. If they paid $900,000 at $7,000 a person, that's 128 posts. They changing the world. 128 posts. We do 128 posts a month, just my channel. But Israel is somehow changing the world and influencing people with 120 posts. Y'all can't be that stupid. And to be honest, for about 30 people, they claim that there's about 30 people involved. That's four posts a person. Now imagine none of us big time people are getting money from them. I got the biggest following out of any Zionist in America, I think. None of us getting paid. Glenn Beck ain't getting paid. None of us getting paid. So who getting paid? People with 20,000 followers? Let's say 30 people with 100,000 followers, 4 posts apiece. What reach is that? They can pay it all to me, and I'll get 100 million people seeing the content. So who they paying and how is it effective? It don't make any sense if you put it all together. But these young folks are just as stupid on the right as on the left. And I'll call you out. I don't care. If you're getting on a mic and you talking about AIPAC should be registered as a foreign aid, you just listen to the talking points from ignorant folk. They're saying Israel has the biggest lobby. Then how is so much anti-Semitism in America if they got the biggest lobby? If they're somehow influencing all our politicians, how is anti-Semitism running rampant? If they control the media, which media outlet? They control the media, and they got the most hate from the media out of anybody else. What are we saying, man? What are they control Donald Trump. Y'all done went woke and stupid. We voted for Donald Trump because nobody can tell him sugar, honey, iced tea. He can't, his consciousness can't even tell him what to do. Donald Trump do whatever he want to do. He say whatever he want to say. Money came by Trump. You know how? Because your ignorant, woke, right people are saying, Miriam Adelson runs Donald Trump. She gave him 120 million in his election. Elon Musk gave him 200-something million. Double what she gave him. Elon Musk was in Doge. He had a position in the government. And Donald Trump said, get out of here because I'm sick of you. So money can't change him. He made them do a ceasefire. Y'all said they wanted to do a genocide, ethnic cleansing. He cut the ethnic cleansing short. Everybody said that Netanyahu didn't want to end the war because he's going to go to prison. Netanyahu agreed to the peace deal. What y'all talking about then? Brandon, you getting paid. You a sellout for the... No, I'm smart, bro. I'm smart. I'm not unlike some of the other people y'all follow. I have integrity and I'm smart. And I don't do this stuff for money. That's why I'm smart. I don't do it for money. When I look at stuff and I go AIPAC, I did research on AIPAC to figure out what the truth was. End up, AIPAC shouldn't register as a foreign agency. They shouldn't. It's stupid to say that because we got a whole bunch of other American lobbies that lobby for other countries. Y'all just don't talk about it because they're not Jews. I wrote a whole op-ed on that. Then they talk about the Ashkenazi Jews. They're not associated with the... Quit being silly. They came from Israel and they got dispersed everywhere and they came back. How do they not have a connection to Israel? Because they race mixed in Europe. That don't mean they don't have a bloodline. I want to call you an idiot, but I'm not going to call y'all idiots today. They have a bloodline. Ashkenazi Jews have a direct bloodline to Abraham, according to peer-reviewed research. I did an op-ed on that on my Substack. Go look it up. I did all the research for you so you don't have to think about it. And you can challenge my research if you want to. But you got to stop listening to foolish people. If you listen to the crowd, nobody cheered when the knuckleheads were doing all that stupidity. But when Glenn Beck challenged them, they cheered. That tells you that most people at Turning Point USA that come to these events, they are reasonable. They are not the woke Reich. These woke Reich people are people from Nick Fuentes, people that have been listening to, what's his name, who don't know if Hamas is a terrorist group or not. But anyway, let's move on. I want to talk about the young child that was assaulted at 5 years old. But before we get there, we got to go to Don Lemonhead. Don Lemonhead, with the human backpack carrier, with his white boyfriend on his back, carrying him around every day. Y'all know how weird it is to be gay. Like not as a person, but as Bro, if y'all getting it in, that's weird. Another man going through, come on, bro. That ain't even, the anatomy don't make sense. That's nasty. That's nasty. I know some of y'all, I'm just going to keep it real. I don't care. This is my show. Hey, man, there's been some times where I ate some burritos and it didn't go well. And that's what y'all doing down there. And it ain't like you can stop that from happening because you still eat food and your digestive. And y'all playing in that area like that. And then you get, I've done research on some of this stuff. These dudes be doing that and they can't hold their bowels. Because it's a one-way street, fool. You ain't supposed to go down a one-way street. And y'all going down a one-way street and can't even hold your bowels. Dudes his age got to wear diapers and stuff because their stuff just come out. That God's showing you it ain't right. And y'all do it anyway. All this HIV virus, majority of it come from men on the back of each other. Don't make me get started. I ain't trying to bash you. If you live in a gay lifestyle, God wants you to repent and turn. But I don't hate you, and God don't hate you. You're just doing the wrong thing. Same thing if you cheating on your wife or doing all this other stuff. You're doing the wrong thing. Don't mean God hates you. That just means you are distant from him because you're sinning. Pray to God that he allow you to overcome what's going on in your mind that's untoward to the way God made us. That's it. That's it. I still love you. I still hug you around the neck. Tell you I love you. I do anything for you. I'll put my uniform on to die for you if you're gay or not. But all right, let's get to Don Lemon. I'm done preaching. Y'all can pass the offering plate around later. Don Lemonhead don't even know the law. And this is how stupid he is. He's supposed to be a man on television, a journalist, and he can't take 3 seconds to look up the law, the U.S. code about immigration. Roll the clip.
Okay, crossing the border illegally is not a crime?
No, it's not a criminal act. Okay. It's a misdemeanor.
So why are they being sent back and saying that they're breaking the law?
That's the point.
Okay, as somebody that actually...
We don't know if they're breaking the law because they won't tell. There's no due process. Where's the evidence? That's the whole point. And if they are breaking the law, most people will say, okay, then they need to go if they're criminals. But if they're not, why are they being rounded up and sent out? Especially when he promised to deport the criminals. And now he's not doing that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going...
Misdemeanor is not a crime, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So misdemeanor is not a crime?
It's not a criminal act, no. If you get charged with a misdemeanor, that's not a criminal act.
So why get charged at all then, if it's not a criminal act?
Because we have different levels of crime. Everything is not the same.
So it is crime.
No,
it's just
we have
levels.
different levels of. I shouldn't say crime, but it's not. It's not a crime. You're not breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law, but it's not a criminal act.
So it's breaking the law.
No,
the law, but
you're not breaking the law.
The misdemeanor is not breaking the law.
No.
So if you're speeding, drinking, get pulled over, DUI.
That's not a criminal act. Well, no, if you're speeding is a misdemeanor.
It's a misdemeanor.
Right.
Well, so it's still breaking the law.
Okay. Well, if you want to qualify that, we're doing semantics. But what I'm trying to tell you is everything is not the same. It's all not one thing.
But is it the law?
What is it? The law that what?
Is it a law to come over legally? Is there a law?
There are rules processes that you should follow. Yeah. So you're breaking rules. You're breaking the rules, but you're not necessarily breaking a law.
So what happens when you break the rules?
Then you suffer the consequences. But the consequences should not. Look, no one is saying no one should suffer the consequences. You guys are getting things mixed up.
No, Doug. You get stuff mixed up. That fool said, if you come over illegally, it's a misdemeanor. A misdemeanor is a crime. It's a misdemeanor crime. What are you saying, Don Lemon Juice? Why do people somebody should have told him not to do this. Because he just looked like a fool. I got the law right here. If you think that I'm lying or anybody else lying, go and look up 8 U.S. code or USC code 1325. I want to make sure I don't get it wrong. 8 USC 1325. It will give you everything you need to know about illegal crossings, immigration, crimes, and if you re-enter and harboring illegals and transporting illegals, doing fraud, lying on your documents to get over here, all that stuff is a crime. But let's go through this because a lot of people have gotten this misconstrued. If you are here illegally, meaning you come through a port of entry and you do not show up to your court date, that is a civil infraction. The penalty for that civil infraction is deportation. So if you come over here through the port of entry and you seek asylum and they either deny your asylum claim and you escape into our country, or you don't show up to court, you have what they call a deportation order, which is civil. And the reason that it is civil is because you have due process. That means you have a right to go back to court and determine whether or not you're actually breaking the law. But it's civil. You get deported. Now, if you come back after getting deported, no matter how you come back, you're illegally entering our country. That is a crime. Now, let's talk about the other thing that makes it a crime when it comes to illegal immigration. If you come into our country anywhere other than the port of entry, you have committed a crime. That's an unauthorized entry. That means that you evaded inspection. Those two elements of the crime or elements will make it a crime if you come in here. So you come in here not from the port of entry, sneaking through the border like many people are, cutting through the gate. That is immediately a crime. If they kick you out, you come back, it is an aggravated crime. If you come over here and you're a part of terrorism or drug dealing and all that is an aggravated crime. So I hope that we're very clear about this. You enter outside of the port of entry, you have broken the law. It is a crime. You will be prosecuted and deported. If you come here through the port of entry seeking asylum and you didn't go to court or you get your asylum claim rejected and you somehow don't leave, you have a civil deportation order. Are we clear, Don Lemon? If you do one, millisecond of research, you'll figure that out. But what they're trying to do, ladies and gentlemen, they're trying to decriminalize this thing to make you seem like the bad guy. If you don't like the law, change the law. But they didn't have no problem when Barack Obama was in office doing this. And the majority of his deportations came when people were crossing the border. They never got into our country because he turned them away at the border. 3 million people, more than Donald Trump has done in his 2 terms. Yeah, but you know what? Don't listen to me, okay? Don't listen to Brandon. Brandon just saying whatever. He's an Uncle Tom Coon sellout bootlicker. All right, let's go back to the story I want to cover. A very sad story about the young girl, the child who was 5 years old at the time that these other kids decide to take advantage of her. And I want to put the story out because people are not covering this. And I'm going to tell you why I'm covering this as soon as you watch the clip. So let's play the news clip coverage of this story, and then you're going to understand why I'm talking about this rotor clip.
A mother in shambles after she says she found her baby girl beaten and abused. For the first time ever, the child's mother is speaking out, and you won't believe who police say are the suspects. 19's Noelle Williams joins us now with this heartbreaking story, and we want to warn you, some of the images and details are graphic.
I literally saw the worst thing ever. Like, I saw my daughter unrecognizable.
What happened to Antavia Kinnebrew's daughter is something most people will have a hard time understanding. She says her bubbly, sweet 5-year-old daughter was beaten and assaulted. This picture showing hair ripped out of her scalp. Police revealing startling details. The victims and suspects are under the age of 10 years old. This is shocking news to the 21-year-old mom.
I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Kinnebrew's mother held her hand as she wept.
Hold on.
She tells me...
She trans? No, okay. No. All right. Let's, in all serious note, she said 21-year-old mother. The young girl is 5. I saw her mama sit next to her, and I thought her mama was 20. So this woman had a kid 5 years from 21. How much is that? That'll be, you take one that's 4, that'll be 16. So she had a kid at 16 years old. I was just on Jillian Michaels' show, and we were talking about this. And I was telling her, the biggest problem in the inner city communities is that these young people don't have fathers and male leadership. You got a 16-year-old having a kid, and now you got other kids abusing that kid. And no father and no male representation is there at present. That's how the cycle continues, starts, and finishes. It's not the white man. It's an environment in which we perpetuate and create in the inner cities. I'm going to let her finish. Roll it.
Out of safety, she does not want to share her daughter's name or show her face, but she explains what happened that day. She tells me on September 13th, she had dropped her daughter off at a family member's home near East 145th Street and St. Clair Avenue. Somehow, her baby girl walked out the front door. When Kennebrew found out, she rushed over and saw her 5-year-old being treated by EMS several blocks over.
Her hair was scalped from her head. She had bruises and blood all over her body. Her eyes was filled with blood. Her lips and mouth was filled with blood. Her nails had dirt, debris of dirt stuck in it.
19 News reached out to Cleveland police several times to try and find out if there are any charges. If so, what are those charges? And if the ages of the suspects would hinder that. All police would confirm is that the victim and suspects involved in this case are under the age of 10, and any other information would jeopardize the investigation. Either way, Kennebrew says her daughter is left physically, emotionally, and mentally hurt and now in therapy. She is grateful for the support of the community so far, but she wants help and answers.
I want her to just to be somewhat of a normal 5-year-old again.
In Cleveland, Noelle Williams, 19 News.
Again, no charges have been filed, but we will continue to press police for information here. And as soon as we do hear that charges are filed, look for that first alert push notification on our app. We will continue to follow up with this horrific attack.
Now, this is sad. It is very sad. It's sad on multiple angles. Because under 10 years old, those are also children. And how could children be so brutally violent against other children that look like them is insane to me. But, you know, I don't fault these kids more than I fault the parents. I got a 4-year-old. Now, crying would be the second thing I do if something happened to my son like this. It'll be some flower bringing and slow singing. Y'all wouldn't recognize me. I might as well quit my social media because it's gonna be some furniture moving. If I ever saw my son like that, and whoever's responsible for it, we're gonna be pushing up daisies. I'm just saying. However, these are little kids that did another little kid like this, and I put that on my life. That if you go back and look at the trajectory and history, or not trajectory, but the history of the families that are involved in this, it ends in poverty, violent history, and no dad. Where is the mother's dad, meaning the woman whose child was victimized? Where is her dad at? Why is it just the mama in the screen rubbing her back? Where is her father at? And if her father was present in her life, she probably wouldn't have had a kid at 16. I want y'all to hear me very clearly. It's almost impossible for you to make some of yourself unless you have a great infrastructure around you. If you have a child at 16 years old, how do you have a life at 16? You can't really even get a job. At 16, you're still in school. You're like a junior in high school or sophomore, junior in high school. And then you think you're going to go to college? With what money? You got to spend money on that little baby you just had. And if the daddy ain't there now, all of your resources going to that baby. But like Thomas Sowell speaks about this. Larry Elder talks about this. A lot of black prominent men will tell you, like in our community, the reason why we're so far back is because a 16-year-old had a baby. And then I bet her mama is single. So now you got a household with one income, having to take care of 2 more dependent people. How are you going to get wealthy like that? How are you going to make anything of yourself? And then you have a legacy as a man, because I bet these were boys that did this to the girl. You have, as a man, your legacy is 2 kids that can't make none of their life because they were willing to do this to a kid at 10 years old. Now, because they're minors, they can get arrested, not unless they're under 8. But they can get arrested, but they're not going to do no real time in prison. They're minors. They're little kids. How much time can you do in prison at 8? And then what happens if you do go to prison is really your daddy and them fault that you crazy enough to do this to a kid. So really they should be going to prison. But you go to prison and you're institutionalized at 8. You get out, you're not a regular person. You messed up. And then you become grown and you're resentful and you keep doing the same thing you did before because you're going to get out and go to the house that taught you to beat up a kid like this. It's a residual cycle that keeps black people in poverty. Instead, a young woman with a father in a happy household, a reasonable household, then raise a young woman that go off to go to college, get a degree, get married, have children. That's generational wealth. And then you raise young boys that when they see the little girl out by herself, they take her by the hand and they go turn her back into a family. They call the police and they say, hey, we got a missing girl out here. How can we help? And those young boys grow up, become young men, get into sports, learn how to work on a team, learn team camaraderie, learn discipline, want to go out to the military, go start their own business, go play sports, whatever they have in play. And then they get married, they have kids, generational wealth. Instead, we have this cycle. That girl is scarred for the rest of her life. Now, as an adult, God can fix it. Here. She is going to hate men. She is going to hate black men. She may be afraid of black men. I ain't going to speak that on her life, but this could happen to her. And then the young boys don't understand that they were raised like that. They get caught by police, was probably white. Now they hate cops and they hate the system. Vicious cycle. Let's get to the next story. This is going to be the last story. I think we can knock this one out. Katie Porker, pork sirloin herself. I ain't gonna bash no sirloin like that, man. Sirloin steak is good. It look good and it tastes good. And Katie Porker, she is a devil. And I don't know how people even consider voting for her. I was talking to one of my friends, Ryan Tillman. He's running for governor for California. And as a Republican, it's an uphill battle. Out of all the Republicans that are running, Ryan Tillman is my favorite. And unfortunately, the Republicans that are running, and Ryan Tillman is the favorite, and he my age. I think he's younger than me. And he 30-something. So the Republicans, in my opinion, just don't have a real strong deck as a Republican in California. Now, if I was in California, I'd vote for him. But the Democrats got Katie Porker up there. I asked him, I said, is anybody going to vote for her? They like, yeah, she got a lot of clout. What? Now let me show you what he's talking about. Joe Rogan had to come out and say something about it. You messed up your own Joe Rogan show. Let's pull up Joe Rogan clip about Katie Porker. Roll the clip.
I used to bring up, and people would say, this is ridiculous. Who believes this? It's that pedophilia is not a crime, that it's a sexual orientation. This lady who's running for governor of California, this crazy lady.
Porter or whatever the fuck her name
Katie
is.
Porter that screams at her staff, get out of my shot.
She's the worst.
She looks like the way she talks. Like the way she talks when the cameras are rolling and she doesn't think anybody's going to see it. Like, what a monster.
She's the worst.
But she did one of those interviews where she was talking about pedophilia. And she was talking about
minor attracted people. You mean MAPS?
Yeah. See, I used to say that they're talking about this in certain universities, and people are like, that is never going to go anywhere. No one's going to buy into that. This lady's running for the governor of California, and she said that.
California, y'all good over there? Orange County need to secede from California. Because I go to Orange County and I feel like I'm in America. When I go to LA, I'm like, where am I? When I go to the east, when you get away from the water in California, or you go up north in Fresno and you go to Hanford, where my wife is from, there's a normal people. You're like, how y'all live here? It's unfortunate. It's almost like they need to divide it up like the West Bank. Don't get mad at me. I'm just telling the truth. Divide up LA, cut it down here. Go down here, Orange County is by itself, and San Diego is by itself. And then you got and then for these nut jobs to travel to the conservative areas, they got to go through checkpoints. Because California is too beautiful for y'all to screw this up. Every time I go to California, I'm like, how could you mess this up? Oh, maybe because I only go to Orange County, but I go down there. I thought about moving there. I ain't gonna even lie. If a Republican was there, I have dual stateship. I'd be in the summertime, I'd be out there in the water. I'd be going to the Pendry, whatever that place called. I went to the Pendry with my homeboy. He lived in Phoenix, but he moved to LA. I was going to get a membership there. I say, this is the life I want to live. Now, I can't afford to live nowhere near the Pendry, but it almost was my thing. But anyway, let me get back to the subject at hand. Let's go to Katie Porter. I want to go to her stupid interviews that she got backlash for. Let's go to 12 first, because this is what Joe Rogan was talking about. God dang. God dang. And y'all trying to prank me. There ain't no way that woman looked like this. Joe Rogan was right, but she looked like her personality. Remember I told you can't be fat, stupid, and mean. She looked like she fat, stupid, and mean. Now listen to what she have to say. And this is what Joe Rogan is talking about for all y'all people out there in California talking about, I was the first female governor. This is what she's saying. Roll it.
The allegation of groomer and pedophile, it is alleging that a person is criminal somehow and engaged in criminal acts merely because of their identity, their sexual orientation, their gender identity. So
sexual orientation.
This is clearly prohibited under Twitter's content, yet you found hundreds of these posts on the platform.
She's talking about people who are attracted to little babies and stuff, kids. Their sexual orientation. I told y'all this a long time ago. I'm gonna get to the other clips. I promise you. 1 second. Give me like 30 seconds, right? I'm 30 seconds, and I'm not a Baptist pastor on this. I'm gonna be 30 seconds. I wish y'all had a clock and count me down. I told y'all the reason that they do LGBTQA plus, behind the plus is where they hide all the shenanigans. They gonna put M behind the plus. Minor attractive persons. I promise before, as sure as I'm sitting here, you give it a couple more years, they're gonna put the M behind minor attractive persons. I will bet you $100,000 that's gonna be true. And that's why they put the plus, because it's not visible. So they hide all the nefarious things past the plus. When in reality, all of it is just you gay anyway, right? If you gay, you gay. If you're a lesbian, you gay. If you bisexual, you just horny and you gay. If you trans, that means you're a man turning into a woman, you with another man, you gay. If you trans, you turn into a woman, you with another woman, you gay. So technically it should just be G. That's it. But all that is gay. But y'all want to make all these different excuses for a person just is horny and gay. Or you weird, or something going on with your mind. I don't want to say it is weird. It's weird that don't make you weird. You just messed up in your mind. You need help. Somebody need to pray for you. You need to take some medicine or something. Because if you in your mind think you a man and you want to turn to a woman, but you don't want a period, y'all ain't right. That's why I don't have no respect for you. Y'all go get a surgery, go get a period surgery. You can put a little bag there with a little blood in it and squeeze it every week, and you got to get cramps in your stomach. You can take a pill to make you cramp up. How many people gonna transition if you had to do that? Y'all men don't want to. Man, I don't want to do that. My wife, every time my wife, she this morning, I won't put my wife out there, but this morning, she like, my stomach. I said, what's wrong with you? You getting sick? No, you know what? I'm like, God dang, I feel bad for you. Every month for the rest of your life, you got to go to stomach burning and cramping and doing all this stuff. I feel bad for her. But you trans folks get to escape that. And you think we need to call you a woman. Come on. Giving birth. Now, I got 2 kids. And one was the regular way and the other one's a C-section. And both of them are gnarly. But y'all trans want to be women, but you don't want to go through all that stuff women got to go through. Okay, let's get to the clip. Minor attractive persons, let's do her, tell her employee to F off in her clip, 11B. Wrote a clip.
And what it showed is if we don't electrify our transportation sector, that we're going to lose more than 500,000 Californians dying prematurely to air pollution and other problems. And the state could lose. Get out of my shot.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually incorrect. It's not that it's electric vehicles. It's that if we don't meet the commitments under the Paris Climate Accord.
Okay, it does. Okay, you also were in my shot before that. Stay out of my shot. Okay, I'm going to start again with electric vehicles saving us money. Perfect. Okay.
Hold on, I don't know what's stupider. Her acting as stupid or the girl in the background with a mask on? And then she pulls the mask down to tell the fact checker live. Like, what's stupider? Why you got a mask on if you're going to pull it down and talk? You can't make this stuff up. She cussing somebody out. There's times where my kids have interfered in stuff that I've been doing. I want to cuss. But you know, I'm mature. I'm not running for governor, but I'm mature enough to know I ain't finna cuss at my kids. This a little kid. Oh, my son is in a shot. He's a regular person. He's an accident. I may tell him after the live, bro, you killing me. I'm not going to cuss at my kids like that. And then she not only cut, imagine what she do when the camera ain't rolling. We got more. Let's go to that interview where she walked off that we played the other day, and then I'm going to play her apology. Let's get to clip 11A.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, man?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're saying.
In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support already in terms of name recognition. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you. I represented Orange County. I represented a purple area. I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an experience.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't
I
think
feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
correct. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every
other candidate.
Every follow-up to every question. You ask me a follow-up, I'm going to quit the interview. And I want to be the governor of the 5th largest economy in the world and the largest state in the union. Ma'am, are you serious? Now let's play a little weak apology, and then we're going to get to Mamdani. Because I really want to talk about that fool, because y'all finna screw New York up indefinitely. So the clip that I'm talking about is clip 10. Clip 10. Roll the clip.
Should California voters feel confident that there aren't any more Katie Porter videos out there?
Well, what I know is that I could have done better in those moments. I'm going to be focused on earning their votes and earning their trust. That's true in every election. I've only ever had tough elections. So I'm absolutely aware that I'm going to have to continue to show them. I'm going to have to answer every question. I'm glad I got to continue that interview and finish that interview and answer all her questions. And that's what I'm going to continue to do, to show Californians not only that I understand their problems, but that I have the will and the strength of character to actually get something done about them.
But not just the CBS interview, the interview with the staffer. Can voters be confident that there won't be another one of those videos that's going to come to light?
What I do know is that I could have done better in that situation.
But that's not a no. So is there potentially another video that we're going to see?
Nikki, I'm going to be honest with you. I know that video, and that video was several years ago, as you know, and I apologize to the staffer. That's super important to me, and will continue to try to hold myself to do better. That's what I can promise.
But not that there's not going to be any more videos, because that's what people are wondering. Are we going to see something else like that?
I can tell you what I've told you, which is that I am taking responsibility for this situation, and I'm also not going to back down from fighting back for California, from being tough. I don't think this is a moment where the same old is going to cut it. But that doesn't change the fact that what I did to that staffer was wrong. I've acknowledged it to her in that moment, and I'm acknowledging it now.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I acknowledge in a moment. Why on your video you don't acknowledge it? This woman is so evil. You know why she couldn't say that? She knows she cuss her people out like that all the time. I bet you it's 15 other videos. They're going to wait till close to the election to start dumping them. But she cuss people out like that. I mean, nobody just cuss people out like that. It's a staffer, and you don't do that all the time. Come on, man. All right, last video. Mamdani, y'all hang in there with me. I want to talk about Mamdani. We got clips associated with the tax numbers or him wanting the institute of 52% tax. But this is where we need the rubber need to hit the road. Because when you cover things like this, you need to be able to cover these things appropriately and cover them with fairness and see what everybody has to say on the spectrum. And this is why I love Ground Out News for this, because we have the ability to monitor how these things are being presented to the public. Most of the people talking about this is in the center. On the left, not so much. On the right, not so much. And if you go and look at it, what is the left saying, right? Mamdani addressed Trump directly in interview apologizing to NYPD. No, he didn't. I saw that clip. They lying. Mamdani offers to work with Trump during the Fox News appearance. That's not true. Mamdani apologized for calling NYC racist. Now this is a different clip. I saw a clip. They're being disingenuous on the left. I saw the clip, and they asked him directly, like, are you going to apologize? He skated around it. If the clip exists out there, I would click on this, but I got a clip of my own that I want to play. And you're going to write, Mamdani uses Fox interview to apologize to NYPD, set direct message to Trump. Maybe he did. Maybe this is a new one that he did. But I wonder why the right isn't covering this more. Maybe because allegedly he apologized to NYPD and the right don't want to cover it. But you know the difference by doing your research and looking through this. And also don't forget the blind spot. This is one of my favorite parts of the Ground Out News. You go in here, you look at the blind spots, make sure you're not getting blind spotted, right? You can see where the right is covering it, the left is not covering it whatsoever. And then the right is not covering these. And you want to be aware of these before it catch you during election time and you wonder how a candidate won, is because our side isn't covering everything. But you got it all covered through Ground Out News. And I want y'all, if you're interested in getting Ground Out News, I have the membership. It's the Vantage plan. And if you use my link, I'll put the link in the description section, or ground.news/Tatum, whichever one you want to use, you'll get 40% off the unlimited plan. Get the unlimited plan. Don't waste time. Don't be cheap. Get the whole plan so you get access to everything. No need to have half of it. Get everything so you can be informed. But I want to play a couple clips from Mamdani. Let's start with clip 14 about the 52% tax increase.
So a lot of individuals in this city pay more than 50% of their income in taxes. When you talk about a fair share, how much more than, what is the fair share? What's the number?
I've said that we should increase personal income taxes by 2%.
Is fair?
And my point is this:
give up more than half of your income. That's
if you're making $1 million in New York City, or more than that,
million,
you can afford to pay 2% more. And the reasons you can afford to do so is because that money will be used to better your quality of life as well.
Yeah.
Because when I speak to the wealthiest New Yorkers, I hear concerns about the cleanliness of the city, the quality of life in the city, questions of public safety. This money is the money that will be used to deliver on those things so that we can ensure that we have a return on investment for all of the money that we are raising and spending right here across the 5 boroughs.
52%. You got to understand how silly this is. You're telling a person that make $1 million. $1 million is not that much money in New York. Like when I'm saying, when you look at the per capita of all these big time people that live there, $1 million is really not a lot. I'm saying for the people who got money. I'm not saying, because I know some people out there like, but you live in the city, you think you're going to have a high rise, you're going to live $1 million don't take you as far. Maybe I should say it like this so people don't misconstrue what I'm saying. $1 million in Texas, in Florida, Arizona, Oklahoma, anywhere in the South will take you to the promised land. In New York, after you pay 52% of your money in state tax, what is it? State tax? Hold on, let me put this together. State tax? Am I tripping, y'all? Let me put this together. 52% in state. It's no way that's right. It can't be. It must be something. Let me look into this. Okay. It says, it's a clip of Mamdani who wants 52% citywide income tax remain unverified and exaggerated. He said it there on the news, so I don't think it's unverified. Higher tax on the top 1%, increase corporate tax or corporate rates to fund housing. I'm trying to put this together. Maybe I'm wrong. I need to do my research on this because this kind of don't make sense. 52% on state tax. Now, how do you do 52% on state tax? What do you do on federal tax? Because if you're making $1 million or more a year, you're probably in the top bracket in state in federal income tax, which is like 30-some%. Maybe he's saying just corporate tax. So that means that, like, for instance, one of my companies is actually a corporation. So then I have to pay taxes twice, right? The corporation pays tax, and then I pay tax individually. 52% on corporate, that can't be right. Because corporations have to pay federal income tax. And then you have to pay 50% to state. I'm wrong on this. Can somebody help me in the comment section? Am I tripping? It's impossible. That means you're paying like 60-70% in taxes. That can't be true. That can't be true. I gotta look this up. Y'all, let me do more research on this. It says 50% blanket income tax on all New Yorkers. Obviously not all. They're talking about the 1% earners. There is no way this is true. It can't be possible. If your company has a revenue, play his clip back. I gotta hear his clip one more time.
So a lot of individuals in this city pay more than 50% of their income in taxes. When you talk about a fair share, how much more than, what is the fair share? What's the number?
I've said that we should increase personal income taxes by 2%.
Personal income tax.
Is fair?
And my point is this.
Give up more than half of your income.
If you're making $1 million in New York City, or more than that, you can afford to pay 2% more. And the reasons you can afford to do so is because that money will be used to better your quality of life as well.
Yeah.
Because when I speak to the wealthiest New Yorkers, I hear concerns about the cleanliness of the city, the quality of life in the city, questions of public safety. This money is the money that will be used to deliver on those things so that we can ensure that we have a return on investment for all of the money that we are raising and spending right here across the 5 boroughs.
Wait a minute, y'all. 52% of your income, personal income tax. He just say corporate. Personal income tax is 52%. State, city tax? Then you have to pay federal income tax. That includes federal? Yeah, that 52% includes federal. Well, he can't control federal. Yeah. So what is he doing for state? He's trying to say you pay 2% more in state tax it got even worse. Because if that's 2%, that it don't go like I pay this and then I pay 2%. The 2% in and of itself is a crazy amount of money. So I think people need to understand this. Like, you're not paying 52%. You're paying 50%, and then you're paying 2%, which 2%, like, he can't do it together. I hope y'all understand this math. Some of y'all mathematicians like Nick understand this. You're saying 50% is a solid amount, but then your total income is an extra 2%. I'm trying to figure out how he tried to do the math on this. If federal income tax will be 52%, that means that if I made $1 million, I have to pay 52% on the $1 million. Since this guy is doing, he can't control federal income tax. So he really have nothing to do with is he taxing what's left over? Because if he's taxing you out of $1 million, you pay 2%, which is what, 200,000. Hold on. $1 million, 10% would be 100,000. No, so let's go down a little bit, 20,000. So you'll be paying $20,000. Not 52% mean paying this plus this. That he's trying to add like it's an add-on. That's not an add-on. He's separately charging you the total amount of your income. And let me just explain this for people that understand this. Somebody with $1 million ain't going to pay $1 million. They're not going to have $1 million of income. If your tax person is doing their job, if you're about 1 to 1.2, $1.4 million, your tax person is going to find you a loophole to bring your income under $1 million. It's ways to do it. You can business expenses, you can invest, you can do all kind of stuff. They will bring your money. So he's not really talking about people that's around the 1.5 million range. What this fool is thinking about doing is making people who have an incredible amount of net worth, and they're going to be paying hundreds of thousands or more in taxes because they're going to pay 50% to the government. There's already a state tax, and they're going to pay 2% on top of that. Y'all working with me on this, right? I make $1 million. 50% go, I'm assuming, well, no, 50% is not. 37 goes to federal, and then he's putting another number on top of that. 10.9% goes to the state, and then there's already 3.9% that goes to the city, and he's going to increase the top bracket by 2 more%. So 37, I've been getting this wrong. Y'all know it's confusing me what he's saying. So he think that the total is 52%. But it don't work like that. They're taxing you unless they're taxing you after you've been taxed federally, meaning that if you've been taxed federally and you got 50% of your money or 37% of your money down and they tax you on the 37%, then that would make a total of 52%. But if they're letting the government tax you at $1 million, that means you pay 30% of $1 million to them, and then you pay another, how much percent? And then 10.9 to the state. And then are they going to make you pay 12% to the state? Or are they going to make you pay 10% and then add on the 2%? And you have to pay 3% to the city. They're going to add 2 percentage points to the city. That's insane. You know how much you're getting raked over the coals? That's crazy. That right there, the city and the state income tax is like 13 or 14%. There is no state income tax in Texas, and I believe there's no sales tax in Texas. There's no state income tax in Florida. So a multi-billionaire or millionaire would save millions of dollars in taxes if they just live just south of New York and Florida. Mamdani going straight to hell for what he doing. But anyway, I'm glad y'all worked that math with me. It's confusing to me too. I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of